Look at this beauty that I got this week. This is the 2025 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 high definition, the heavy duty model. It has the Duramax diesel engine, but is this beast better than the Ford F-250 Super Duty? In this video, I'll discuss the differences and compare one against the other. And besides that, I'm going to touch on some aspects that you may or may not agree with me on. And I'm going to invite, obviously, for you to give me your opinion there in the comment section. And obviously, I'm going to talk to you about the experience of driving it. And it's within a segment where there really aren't many options to choose from. If you think about it, you only have three brands: Ram, Chevrolet, and Ford. In trucks of this heavy-duty profile, there isn't a heavy-duty Toyota Tundra, nor is there a heavy-duty Nissan, let alone Honda. So there aren't many options. The opposite happens, for example, in a segment like SUVs, where there are 12, 13, 14, 15 different models, different versions, with variants. Here, only three brands that are competing for that high-definition market, so welcome. Let's discuss the front features of the Silverado 2500 of the Ram that I mentioned, the new 2500, which is here. At the time of recording this video, there are still no official details. Rumors suggest it will have 430 horsepower and 1,075 pound-feet of torque. Yeah, would it be more or substantially more than this? However, this is unofficial. Therefore, that's why I tell you that I'm going to focus mostly on the Ford F-250 in the comments and on this Chevrolet Silverado. Look at the front. This front, let's say, with a quite expressive grille. Oh, I don't know how long this plastic is going to last you. Let's say very shiny, impeccable, without getting scratched, depending on what driving characteristics or on what terrains you put it on. But well, it looks nice, at least like this, quite new, and obviously, well, a huge functionality. Here you have your front camera. I really like the color combination in this blue, like a grayish blue. The front bumper with its sensors, and look at the recovery hooks, how well they contrast in this red color with the bumper on the grille. And all the color harmonizes very well in this heavy-duty truck. The 771 is integrated into the front grille and headlight. I really like the shape of the daytime running light with the double LED projection lens. This is a non-functional applique. Below is the fog light. They complement in a way, let's say, harmonious, that front of the optical set. Now I'll discuss another interesting aspect of the 2005 Silverado 2500 high definition and compare it with the Ford F250. But before, if you like the video, give me a like, it costs you nothing. And also subscribe to the channel because I am presenting content with exclusive events. Launches, I was in Las Vegas, I was in Los Angeles and Detroit, with launches and things that many people do not have at the level of exclusives and details that nobody tells. So I offer you great content so you don't miss it. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so it alerts you. As all YouTubers remind you, hit the bell to get alerts for new videos. The bell is important, so let's move on. And this aggressive character is complemented by the hood, which also has an element that gives it even more imposingness. No, in this entry with the GOAT recorded. All of this is functional, and we're going to lift it to talk to you about the engine. We're going to uncover this, and we find this big machine here, which is what it has. Well, this is not a stock engine. The one that comes stock is the 6.6 liters. The V8, which gives you a power of 401 horsepower, if I remember correctly, and 474 pound-feet of torque. There's a substantial jump when you opt for the turbo diesel, the Duramax, which is 6.6 liters. It's also a 8.8 engine. It's coupled to an automatic transmission, the Allison, of 10 speeds. But the numbers change. 470 horsepower, and the big difference is in the torque. It's 975 pound-feet of linear torque. Now, how does that compare to the Ford F-250 Super Duty? With the Ford F-250 Super Duty, in terms of engine, you also have a 8.8. You have a turbo diesel, but in terms of power, if the numbers are higher than the Silverado that is assigned Duramax diesel, you have 500 horsepower and 1,200 pounds per linear foot of torque. So, in terms of power and paramotor, the Ford F-250 would be the winner. And we quickly jump to the back because whoever buys a pickup truck, one of these heavy-duty ones, is really thinking a lot about what the back can give you. What do I mean by that? Well, towing capacity, very important load capacity, because we already know the usual use or purpose of one of these trucks, not to be pulling. Heavy loads. Well, the Super Duty, the Ford F-250, Here, if we only focus on the figures, it will have a competitive advantage against the Silverado. Why? Because it has a maximum towing capacity in the F250 Super Duty of 23,000 pounds. That depends on the configuration, obviously. This Silverado. The Trail Boss Turbo Diesel 2500 has a maximum capacity of 20,000 pounds with the appropriate configuration and the max trailer package. Where there is a competitive advantage is this tailgate, which I love. Look how cool it is. This is the multifunctional or multi-pro tailgate. The multi-purpose feature that the Silverado 2500 has, the Silverado 2500. If you do it here, press, you have a step that allows you to get up a little more easily to the box. You also have other types of configurations that allow you, depending on the load you carry, if you carry construction materials, if you carry, I don't know, some type of machinery, you can change the configuration of this. And look there, for example. This leaves you with a kind of platform for, depending on the load, you have something more extended. You can also do this if you want to somehow tackle the load. Does this help you? I mean, is it really multi-purpose, multifunctional in this? I do see a competitive advantage to this Silverado. But if we talk exclusively about the electrical connection, and if it has its regular plug, there you can connect a compressor or some electrical tool that was taken. The clear winner would be the Ford F250. So because with the Pro Power onboard system, you have a great competitive advantage because it's an electrical connection system with much more capacity. It's so good and has a greater range in terms of connection capacity that you can power your house with it. If the power goes out, the Pro Power board system is much more powerful and has a competitive advantage against the Silverado. Let's talk about the tires, and here I even have a question for you because these are 20 inches. As we see both Ford F250 and the Silverado 2500 high definition, they offer you 20-inch tires. This is like when things become fashionable not from a time. Suddenly everyone wants 20-inch rims, but not necessarily. And here comes the question, I mean, what would you like more? The 20-inch rim is not necessarily the most suitable for a pickup truck like this one. I say this because the 20-inch rim leaves less space for the tire's sidewall and the reduced sidewall a bit more reduced. When you have a 20-inch rim, right, it also absorbs the shocks from the road itself. As if you had a slightly wider profile with a smaller rim, that's one of the things. Also, these 20-inch rims are more expensive than the smaller ones. Advantages, and you can be sure, if you look at it from the point of view that with the larger rim, you can accommodate a slightly larger brake system. If it's one of the advantages, and that aesthetically it is, visually, they look more aggressive, more modern, I'll give you that too. But definitely, depending on the purpose of your truck, the 20-inch rim is not necessarily the most convenient. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, and I would love to hear or read your opinion there. These are new terrain tires, a profile of 65 to 75 wide. But, as I told you earlier, I like the tailgate of the Silverado and also the General Motors company Sierra, which is General Motors more. The Multi-Pro multi-purpose gate is much more practical, more efficient. Look how you can sit. Some come with their speakers to connect the music and the amount. Well, there are 6 different positions it offers you. I find that advantageous. This one comes standard with the bed liner, the non-slip coating. I think the Ford F250 doesn't come with it. This would be an extra cost. And considering the cost is much higher on the Ford, I believe they should deliver it with this, but if I recall correctly, they don't. As for the rest of the box, well, it has its divisions there. For your planks, as I told you, the electricity connection, you have your LED lights, an additional bar here. In case you need help to get up, more than the step to get on the box, you have it there too. Regarding the profiles of the Ford F250 and the Silverado trucks, here I've had the Silverado, but I've also had the opportunity, as I've told you, to test the F250 on Ford's test fields. The one from 2024, what stands out in this Silverado? Well, do you have your long-range mirrors or extended or motorized blind spot mirrors with the division here? You also have the 2500 high definition in high relief. With this color that is called, as I tell you, because they usually put the color name, the nomenclature on the keychain. Lakeshore Blue. This is called Lakeshore Blue. It looks pretty good. This Z7 one also looks nice here in high relief black, characteristics of the Silverado 2500. And I also highlight convenience and practical points like the step that they have placed here. in addition to or additionally to the multi-pro gate. And how convenient it is because you have a couple of steps, one here and one further, to access the box much more easily. Here you can see what the leaf spring suspension with Rancho shock absorption system is. Those shock absorbers are very good, especially for uneven terrain, and above all, they have very good performance. Performance when carrying heavy load, but how does it feel in itself? Lateral Voice has released it by driving it. Well, let's see what we are going to highlight from the driving. What I can highlight is that obviously you feel like the king of the road, and look at the difference with a Tundra in terms of height. You feel very good. And for that, obviously the camera here in front of my eyes is the best for you to live the experience as I am living it at this moment. Not to drive and explain a bit about the shooting and that about the shooting. Remember, do you have 20-inch rims on this truck? In no Silverado. They may be the most suitable for some, mainly due to looks issues. Not about appearance, more about functionality, although sometimes one has to choose, as I think I've mentioned, functionality over appearance depending on each one's priorities. But the ride quality in this truck, in a Silverado high definition 2500, doesn't feel that comfortable in itself. It's not like enjoying a ride quality, an exquisite ride like in other trucks like the 1500, with another type of suspension scheme configuration. No, however, it's also not something that bothers you too much. I'm going, obviously. Remember, this is a truck that will mostly be used for the trailer and not for towing to carry heavy things. Back there you have a good transmission, you have the diesel, the change in torque, but right now I'm not carrying any kind of load. That is, the truck is empty, the box is empty, and the filming, well, I can say it's the most comfortable, right? Yes. If you wanted to take a long road trip, if you can do it, but it's not going to be the most comfortable vehicle to do it. Something that the Silverado's missing are elements, let's say, of convenience, so to speak, of technology. Here I notice that there is no Super Cruise. Now that General Motors' trend for Chevrolet vehicles is to incorporate in most of their vehicles of their trucks, whether pickup or SUVs, the Super Cruise semi-autonomous driving system. You can let go of the hands and let it correct, change lanes, and more. Even the Super Cruise is quite advanced. The one from General Motors, that you can even tow a trailer. And the Super Cruise's functions will continue, however, this vehicle lacks that specific Super Cruise feature. What you do have are the mirrors that you can extend. You do the motorized mirror. This is over here. From here you can extend it. There, I think the middle button is extending and you turn it back and pick it up from the same button. You can also fold the mirrors. That's a big advantage in this type of not so big heavy-duty towing truck, heavy-duty work. Well, that makes it convenient. Now, to put it in context, I'm driving this truck in a flat area here in Florida. There are no hills, mountains, or even roller coasters here. This is purely flat, that's it. Great for the pacemakers in cycling. But as of course now with the diesel engine, you have an additional amount of torquing for additional engine. Are you going to enjoy that more, or is it going to be more convenient? If you live in an area where there are more little mountains, slopes, hills, that extra torque that the max diesel engine gives you, well, it's much more convenient for you than for me, since I'm in a completely flat area. But if you want to know, I'll step on it a bit. To the bottom. Acceleration is fine. I mean, you don't have any problem. I mean, it's still a very good acceleration. Even if the territory where you are, well, it's like that. A territory like the one I'm showing you. In a relatively flat area comparing one to another. Really, each cabin has its own thing when it comes to technology applications in terms of screen dimensions and all this. The 2025 Silverado received an update with a new screen featuring Google integrations and a refreshed dashboard. I've shown you some images. They look good, but it's also a matter of personal taste. Which interior do you like more? The Power Stroke, the Ford Super Duty, or the Silverado? 2500 high definition. Also the spaces, let's say, in the second row of seats, legroom, width. Of course, this is a double cabin with generous space, excellent for traveling comfortably to be able to stretch your legs.
Both are excellent in that regard.
I really liked the interior and update to the Silverado 2500. It really feels quite good and you feel very connected. But let's discuss price now, which is where the balance can tip in favor of this one. The Chevrolet, because Ford can really get very expensive, especially if you opt for the diesel. Here we are comparing the trucks with diesel engines. Well, the base price itself of the Silverado 2500 high definition without a diesel engine is at $46,000. But when you opt for this one, just as you see it with all the features, and the Duramax diesel gets you to $80,000. $80,000 and change. If you go for the Ford F250, the Power Stroke diesel in 2024 marked over $90,000. So we're talking about a substantial difference in terms of prices. If you have a motorization or a powertrain with higher levels of torque power, also at the level of towing and load capacity, but you have to take into account the price. Therefore, for many, the Silverado 2500 high definition with the turbo diesel could be the most practical option. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And one very important thing, if you're going to buy one or any truck or any car or vehicle, go prepared to the dealer. So they don't take you for a fool, so that the sharks or the salespeople don't apply strategies and tricks to get more money out of you. I recommend that you download my guide called Shut Up at the Dealer at the dealership. In the description of this video is the instruction on how you can download Shut Up at the Dealer, which is my digital book, where basically I prepare you so that you have the possibility of making a great deal buying a vehicle. There you have it. Chevrolet Silverado High Definition 2500, 2025. What did you think compared to a Ford F200 50/50? Which of the two would you choose considering the price, practicality, features? Let me know in the comments if you like the video, you like the two linked videos as well. I invite you to watch them too and follow me on the channel if you haven't followed me yet and give a like to the video. To the server, if you're so kind, and I'll see you and wait for you in the next video, a hug.